Okay.
A lot of people say that divorce is not a failed marriage because if you have kids and you're able to spend a certain amount of time with somebody and build a life with somebody, then the marriage served its purpose. So let me hit something for y'all real quick. They don't say that in the Bible, and you know.
What's up, real ones? Welcome back to the Relationship Podcast, where we're bringing the real back to relationships.
Yes, sir.
I'm Asha Steele.
And I'm Devin Steele.
And we're so excited that you guys are tuning in today with us.
Yeah, because, as always, we got another good one for y'all. We starting off the new year with 2 bangers.
Yes.
2 fire episodes to really get y'all in the mood of love. Like, this year is all about love. It's all about staying committed and consistent and doing what's necessary in order to make sure you create a relationship or a marriage that flourishes. So I'm excited to get into this episode today because it's about an important topic. It's about the impact that COVID is having on relationships and having it on marriages. As you know, you've been seeing on social media, like, it's been the demise. Where it has led to the demise of a lot of relationships. So it's an important topic that we feel like we need to discuss today. But before we get into that, we have a couple of announcements that we want to make. Last week, we talked about introducing a blog to this podcast, to our website. And, I truly believe that every smart man listens to their wife. You know what I mean? Like, although men are the leaders of the household, you will be a fool not to listen to your wife and the guidance that they have and the suggestions that they have, because a woman wouldn't lead you astray. Hopefully.
Yes.
So we were talking about this blog, and we were really sitting back and we were thinking how we live in a fast-paced world. Like, people have very short attention spans. And the reason why we decided to do the blog is because we wanted to just offer you guys a different medium to consume our content, because our podcasts are around 30, 45 an hour, depending on how we feel long. And not everybody has that amount of time to listen to a podcast, right? So we wanted to give you guys something different that you can consume our content in a quick way. And the first thing we thought of was a blog. But then we're like, a lot of people don't go to websites and read long articles. Like, you have to be able to give people information fast. So we thought about doing a text, and Asha came up with a name called Love Tap, where we're just going to send love taps out to y'all every Friday, just to give you guys tips on how you can enhance your relationship or your marriage, how you can deepen your friendship, how you can build up that emotional and physical intimacy in your relationship, just how you can build trust and resolve conflict in your relationship, the important steps into creating a real relationship. So if that's something that you're interested in, like I said, we're going to be sending out these tips every single Friday, which are called Love Taps. All you have to do is text 302-231-0338, text hashtag Love Tap. Again, that's 302-231-0338. And you will receive our love taps every Friday to help enhance your real relationship.
Yes, you guys. Also, you guys, we wanted to introduce to you all another piece to our Real Love collection. If you guys aren't or haven't already seen, of course, us wearing our shirts, we had some real ones who were wearing them as well. Our lovely Real Love collection t-shirts. We decided to, incorporate some hoodies because it's hoodie season. We like to be warm, comfy. I know in Houston it is cold. So we wanted to introduce some hoodies for our Real Love collection for Valentine's Day. And we want y'all to, love them, support it. So make sure you guys stay tuned and check that out. Y'all can visit our website, relationshipspodcast.com. So y'all can check it out on there. Also, since we're talking about Valentine's Day, we like to do a giveaway for our real ones, of course, a couple for Valentine's Day. And so we are going to do another giveaway for Valentine's Day this year for one lucky couple to enjoy a night out for Valentine's Day, a special night out together. So what do they have to do to enter to win that?
See, we're not going to even let the details out now because I don't want people to start blowing us up.
Oh, you just want to
Just
give them a
yet.
little teaser?
Yeah, I think probably February 1st, we're going to send out the details. But every year, I think we've been doing this for the past 2 years, where we'll pick a couple on social media to be our Valentine, and we'll send them out on a date night for Valentine's Day. If COVID's going crazy and you can't do that this year, you know, we might do the personal chef for y'all, or we may, you know what I mean, do something really
Spice
special
it up,
for y'all.
yes.
Or we will do gifts. But we'll let y'all know the details so that y'all have a chance to be our Valentine.
Yes.
I think our last announcement is our weight loss journey. Last week, me and Asha made a public declaration of us going on a fitness journey together. We had goals of losing weight, and we decided that every week we're going to check in with y'all to let y'all know how we're doing on our weight loss journey. So, baby, you can go ahead and go first and let them know
you guys
what you got going on.
So we stayed consistent. We grind. We worked out. My legs was tired and sore. My body was hurting, but it all paid off because this past week I weighed in and lost 5 pounds, you guys.
Yes, sir.
And I am so excited. Okay, this is a great start to the new year, to my fitness journey. So we're gonna keep it
go
going.
ahead and clap it up for that.
Yeah, clap it up. You know. But let me tell y'all, you know, he likes to just go above and beyond. And so, how much did you lose?
That's just what I do. I don't know how to do it no other way. You feel me? So I started my journey. Asha started hers on the 30th. I started mine on the 29th. And since the 29th, I've been able to lose 10 pounds.
Let's clap it up.
Go ahead and clap it up.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So I've been able to lose 10 pounds. And let's leave them with some tips about if there's listeners out there, there's couples out there that are trying to go on this journey together. I want to leave them with some things because I don't want to just, gloat about our progress. Yeah. But I want to let y'all know how y'all can do it as well. And I know that one of the things that we did, there's something in psychology called friction, right? A lot of times as humans, we think that we have the sheer willpower in order to reach our goals, when humans really have very little willpower. The key to success is by creating new habits in your life, right? Takes a lot of motivation to start new behaviors, and then over time, those behaviors turn into habits and they become unconscious thoughts. So one of the things that we did was we eliminated all the sweets out of our house. Like, we don't have anything in here that can be tempting for us to break the diet that we're on. And right now we're doing the keto diet. And I think that has, helped us out tremendously. We also have a home gym. So it's not like we have to hop in a car to go to the gym. It's like right there. So it's no excuse to pick up and just walk into the gym. Like, it's easy. And I know a lot of people don't have that, but you can make a home gym based off of just ordering bands or something off of Amazon and create something inside of your living room to do with your partner. And another thing that has helped me out tremendously is just doing it together. Yes. You know what I mean? Because there are days where I'm not motivated. Like today, I wasn't motivated to get into the gym. I had to tell Asha, like, yo, I don't feel like doing this today. Like, I'm going to need you to really give me a pick-me-up because I ain't got no pre-workout. I went into our little closet to look all over the place for a pre-workout, but I didn't have anything that don't have any carbs, because the keto diet is you're removing carbs and sugars from your diet and forcing your body to use its own fat storage as energy. So I didn't have any pre-workout. But when I walked into the gym, as soon as I walked in, Asha was in there busting the chicken head, and she was like, come on, do the chicken head with me. It'll get you excited to lift. And, I bust out the chicken head. Then Aria saw us doing the chicken head. She tried to do her version of the chicken head. And then we got a workout in. But doing it together has helped me out a lot on this journey.
I think for me, the biggest thing is setting realistic goals.
Yeah.
And sticking to them, having that consistency. I know, like Devin was saying, he's doing keto. I'm doing somewhere in between keto and just trying to eat healthier.
Well, she cut out all the carbs in all the sugars as well. She's just not at that high fat diet that she should be at.
But I think, to be honest, I think that's what it's all about. It's just being, like I said, realistic with your goals and setting what works for you. One, because you know, we always try to go in something like, oh, I want to do it like this, or I want to say you want to work out an hour each day, or you want to just cut out everything out of your diet right away. And then you realize like it's hard to sustain that because you just try to hurry up and do it quick, right? So I think just being able to start, you know, with small increments and say, you know what, today I want to work out 30 minutes. If I get a 30-minute workout, I did that. This week I want to cut out, you know, sugars out of my diet. And then just building that up so that you can get to that point where you want to be at. You know what I mean? I think that was the biggest thing, the biggest challenge for me, because before, like you said, we want to be realistic and talk about, you know, our struggles as well. It was a battle. Like, I'm a sweets person, so me cutting out sweets altogether along with carbs and along with everything else was just like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I need something. And so just to be able to say, okay, I'm going to cut this out this week. I'm going to show that I can be consistent in this area. And then next week we'll eliminate something else has been helpful for me. So I just think just being able to set those realistic goals and just make sure that you're working at them one day at a time, having that accountability partner is huge. Shoot.
Ooh.
That scared me.
So something just fell down in the studio, but you know, that's just how things go.
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. So having that accountability partner, like I was saying, is very necessary and helpful. So yes, that's some things that we've been doing to help with our fitness journey. And like we said, we're going to keep y'all posted every week so that we're being consistent and y'all are holding us accountable. And if y'all are out there on y'all fitness journey as well, make sure y'all send us email, DM, just checking with us so that we can hold y'all accountable as well.
Yeah. And before we get into the just keeping it real moment, I wanted to talk about something with you really quick, because it's something that we just posted on our Instagram that one of the real ones had wrote in the comment section of one of our videos, and just get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
It was under the video of Mike Todd talking about dating really setting you up for divorce. And she said, why does a divorce mean it's an unsuccessful marriage? What's your thoughts on that question? Because I've heard this a lot from people. I've heard a lot of people saying that the divorce is not an unsuccessful marriage. Like, if you had kids, you were able to build something with somebody for a certain amount of years, then it's not a failure. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
So I feel like that. So honestly, I feel like the idea of marriage nowadays is very, for a lot of people, is a lot of like, it's cloudy, right?
Okay.
Even though it's a clear, even though it's a clear, or it should be a clear understanding and meaning behind, backed by scripture, you know, want to get into it.
Oh, I forgot to hit. Yes. I've heard. Hold on. Let me try something out. Okay. So let me go back to saying what she said, or what people say.
Okay.
A lot of people say that divorce is not a failed marriage because if you have kids and you're able to spend a certain amount of time with somebody and build a life with somebody, then the marriage served its purpose. So let me hit something for y'all real quick.
They don't say that in the Bible, and you know.
It don't say that in the Bible, and you know.
And all his little gadgets that he's been working on.
Now back to your point.
But yes, so if you know what the meaning of it is, that union, then to be realistic, you would say that it was not a successful marriage. The marriage was not successful overall. Not saying that you didn't have success in areas of being able to raise your children, success in areas to be able to build, you know, a business and have that and sustain whatever it is that you have from that marriage, from that relationship, that you couldn't have successes within it. But the marriage overall was not a success. And I think that's what a lot of people fail to see, is that the marriage, the union, if it is no longer, where's the success?
Yeah.
There may be successful things that you had from it, like your children and how you raised them, like they said. It could be whatever, business endeavors, whatever it is that you took from it, you know, even if it is the relationship that you had with that partner, whatever y'all went through and grew through. But as a whole, the marriage was not successful. So I really don't understand how that's kind of like not understood.
Yeah, I mean, those are my exact sentiments. I think that people say that in order to make themselves feel comfortable with their decision. And I'm not saying that there's something wrong with divorce. Like, there may be some things that are going on in your marriage that are just unbearable, that cannot be worked out. And the best decision is for you to get a divorce. But understand that when you got married, you made a vow till death do us part. The goal was to spend the rest of our natural born lives together. And if you don't reach that goal, then you failed. And I think that a lot of times people look at failure as just this negative thing, when to me, it just is.
Yeah.
Failure is just a part of life. Like, I don't look at it as a good or bad thing. I look at it as an experience.
Absolutely.
And what can I learn from this experience to make sure that when I go on the next journey, that I don't fail?
Yeah.
I think we got to take the negative connotation away from the word failure, because failure is a part of the success journey.
Yeah.
Period.
I think you said it perfectly, as what I view it as. Failure is not failing, but it being a learning experience, right? Regardless of what you're going through, what area it is. If you have a business and you feel like, oh, your business failed because you no longer have it or something happened, it's a learning experience. You're able to take what you learned, what you had from that business, and transfer it to something else that you're doing in life. I don't feel like the way that you look at it as if it's no longer, it's just a failure and it's just not worth it. Like, it was all is lost, because that's not the case. So I think if you're able to remove, like you said, that notion of, oh, failure is so negative, it is this, it is that, and say it is what it is. Like, let's be real. Let's call it what it is. If it looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Like, if it didn't work, it didn't work. And like you said, no one's here to pass judgment on why it may not have worked or what you could have done better. It just is what it is. Let's just stop putting so much shades on things and trying to sugarcoat things, and just call it what it is.
And keep it real, because that's the only thing that we're going to do on this
Absolutely.
podcast. And I think the dangers of saying that it is still successful is when you have success in life, you go back and you pull things and you implement those things on your new journey. So if you're not being real with yourself and saying, hey, this was an unsuccessful marriage, let me not take those same habits that I was doing in this previous marriage and bring it into my new one, because I'm going to get the same results. You ain't going to look at it like that if you're saying it's a success. Because you're going to do the same thing and nothing's going to change. And you're going to produce the same results. So I think, like Asha said, we got to stop sugarcoating stuff. I know that we live in a society where everybody gets the trophy now. Like, it's a very watered down society where people are extremely sensitive, and I think there are certain things that people should be sensitive about, but the truth should not be one of them. Like, it's just the truth.
Yeah.
It's the real. And as long as it's delivered in a respectable way, then you got to be able to take from that and learn how to grow. So that's just my thoughts. That probably should have been our just keeping it real moment. But do you have another one?
We can just keep it because we just kept it real. But to get it, before we get into it, let's just answer a question from a real one.
Oh, we got a message from a real one. Y'all know what that means. I know it's annoying, but I don't care, because it's from my favorite movie. And you know what I'm going to do for y'all? Listen to me. The first 5 people that text us what movie this is from, we're going to send y'all a free Real Love t-shirt. T-shirt.
Oh,
t-shirt.
Look at me trying to throw a hoodie. A hoodie.
That's too big.
You
of a
get a
prize.
hoodie.
I ain't
You get a
ready for
hoodie.
that. Everybody gets a hoodie. But no, if you text us what movie that is from, text it to 302-231-0338. Again, that's 302-231-0338. Let us know what movie that is from, and we'll send out your shirts this week. Yeah, because this
Okay,
comes
you
out on
guys.
Wednesday. We'll send it out this week. And y'all better get used to it. I don't care how annoying it is. That is what you're going to hear every time we got a message from a real one. So go
I
ahead, babe.
can't. Okay, so it says, I have a question about men who are in healthy relationship. Is it far-fetched to say men who are in a healthy relationship can't be friends with other males who are single? What
No,
do you think?
I think it's very much possible to be in a friendship with somebody who's not married and is single. Long as you're not indulging in the single hood
Lifestyle.
activities.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, because all my friends, we didn't get married at the same time.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't even be reasonable to say that a married man can't be friends with a single man, because everybody doesn't get married at the same time. I think that there has to be certain boundaries where it's like, yo, when we were single, we were able to do this together. Now that I'm married, I can't do this.
Right.
Right. And if it's a true friend, they're going to respect that. Like, I got friends that came down to visit Houston, and we had went out to a restaurant or whatever. And then after the restaurant, they all was going to the strip club, and I didn't even have to say nothing. They was like, yeah, we know you're not going.
Yeah.
And they're not even going to persuade me or try to talk me into going to the strip club, because they know what I'm doing over here. They know what I'm trying to create,
Okay.
what I'm trying to build, and what I'm not trying to mess up. So I think it is possible for a married man to have friends that are single, but there has to be certain boundaries. So
Yeah, I think that goes for male and females.
Yeah.
Like, I think, like you said, you just have to be able to respect.
I don't think married women should have single women friends. Nah. No, I'm just joking.
I was
Look at
about to
your
say,
face.
I have plenty of single friends. Okay, let's not have this whole topic change.
I don't think. Okay, so I don't think that married women should get single woman advice on marriage. But
that's not what he asked.
No, I know. That's my
Okay,
only
well, that's a
disclaimer.
whole nother conversation.
just my
Like
only
I
disclaimer.
said, that's his disclaimer. That's his thoughts. But for me, I think that it goes the same like with males. You can have single friends because, like you said, everyone's not going to be in a relationship at the same time, getting married at the same time. So realistically, you can have those friends. It's not like, oh, I have to cut my single friends off now that I'm married.
Right.
But you have to set certain boundaries and allow for your friends to respect that. And they have to respect that if they really are your friends, because it's just like the things that we do when we're single. If we're going out partying, living a certain lifestyle, coming home at a certain time, you can't do that. So as long as they're being respectful of what that is, there's absolutely no problem with having friends that are single.
I think we handled that pretty well, baby.
Okay.
Clap it up for us. I'm gonna use these things. Okay, clap it up for us. We handled that.
can't.
Thing. We understood the assignment.
Okay. So let's get into today's discussion, you guys. Like we said, we were talking about the impact that COVID has had on marriages, on relationships. And it's a lot. So let's get into it.
Yeah, and I think that, like I said earlier on in the podcast, like when you see on social media, there's a lot of marriages ending right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking, I'm like, yeah, I know that, COVID is impacting relationships. Like it's causing a lot of stress, right?
Yes.
And some people are getting divorced, some people are breaking up, but as a whole, is it really causing that much damage in marriages as far as the divorce rate? So I did my research, and I was surprised to see that divorces have actually been on a decline since COVID.
Which is very interesting.
Yeah, and you would think that it would be on the rise because of the stress, because of what we're seeing on social media, what we're seeing with relationships that are in the public eye. Like a lot of relationships are ending, so it will make one believe that divorce rates are on the rise, when in fact that is not true. What the studies actually show, that divorce is actually on the decline, but what they're seeing is that relationships are impassionate. Like they're just existing. There's no fire, there's no intimacy in the relationship, and it's not because COVID is causing this, but it's revealing this.
Yeah.
Right? Because now, due to the shift that's going on with the world being virtual, jobs, school being virtual, there's really no escape or distraction from the issues that are going on in your relationship.
Yeah.
Now you have to face them head on. Now, people have the same responsibilities where it's like, I have to take care of the house and now I have to take care of the kids. And this is what I was seeing with a lot of women, what is showing about women in COVID is that the kids aren't going to school. Mm-hmm. So the women who are stay-at-home moms, they are now trying to handle the household. The time that they would be able to run errands and do stuff around the house when the kids are at school is no longer there. Mm-hmm. So now they have to try to manage both of them. And their husband just being in the way all the time, just getting in the way with stuff. So it's a lot to manage, and the man is not stepping up.
Yeah.
And, people are not being able to go out and hang out with their friends and stuff, just being able to get that independent time that's so important in relationships.
Yeah. So you touched on a lot of things that have been affecting marriages, but relationships as a whole from the pandemic with isolation from your friends, isolation from your families, work life. If you're not able to go to work and now having to work from home, that has been a big cause for a lot of issues. Which leads into, boredom because we're at home all the time. We're not able to go out. We're not able to do the daily activities that we're used to. So now we're bored. Everyone's trying to figure out what we can do. So many people have suffered from their job loss, and now money has decreased. Income is not the same. And so that's suffering and causing financial hardships. Of course, the hardest one of all, the loss of your loved ones that's been affected by COVID. If they have been things amongst being on top of COVID as well. So it's just so many things that have been contributing to causing this stress. Like you touched on as well, a huge one, which we had saw was the gender role switch for a lot of people. And also just not really being able to define what that gender role is. Like you said, if your partner who typically was going out and working more and you was at home, working or trying to balance the children. Now, if both of y'all are home, a lot of women are thinking, okay, I'm going to have the help of my partner because we're both home. But a lot of times that's not the case. And so now they're forced to be home and, teach their children while they're doing homeschool, but also balancing the daily house activities and everything going on while also working from home. Yeah. And so that's very strenuous when you're trying to, have a balance and have an understanding of what we can do to work together. And it may not necessarily be working. Mental health issues, which we talked about, are huge.
Yeah, stress is real.
Yeah, stress all around. And so I think all of these things have been contributing. When you say it's a lot of marriages have been, or relationships, divorce hasn't been rising, but you have definitely seen the impact of everything that we've been going through, contributing to those marriages, contributing to those relationships, contributing to that form of impassion and why we don't feel like we're able to be passionate and have that, urge anymore because it's a lot.
Yeah. What do you think, like if we look back, but the pandemic started in 2020, right? Mm-hmm. What impact, if any, do you think that it's had in our marriage? Because we talked about this the other day.
Yeah. So I think we were talking about like how it impacted us, but why we weren't able to, why it hasn't impacted us to the point where we're not at that point of being so stressed out and wanting to, go our separate ways. Why we decided to turn towards each other, as we learned from the guidelines instead of turning away. And so I think the biggest thing that contributes to that has been our history of what we've been through and how we was able to go through so many storms previously that set us up to be able to handle things that we're going through now.
Right.
I feel like the biggest challenge from the pandemic has been just not being able to, travel.
You did say that the other day.
Yeah,
was travel. It yesterday?
But not necessarily just traveling for luxury, but being able to travel to see our family. Beforehand you were traveling a lot for work, and although you get a lot of speaking engagements, virtually now, it's not the same when we're able to, travel. If you go back home or you go somewhere and we come with you.
I take it though, because I'm able to do my virtual speeches in my drawers and my socks. I ain't even gotta do too much. I just gotta put on a nice shirt on top.
Y'all, he's not doing that.
Kind of like what we got on right now. Like,
no, we have on pants, y'all. But no, I think that has been the biggest. Well, one of the biggest challenges is just not being able to have that freedom to go out and just be active, to see our families, with our families being on the East Coast is very hard. Right. And even when you go there, like recently with us traveling for Christmas,
we had to cut it short.
We had to not only cut it short, but we were limited to the family that we were able to see. And so it's so many things that I feel like that just having to just be restricted so much, that has been hard for us because we're not able to really go out and live life, you know?
No, I agree, man, because I knew this, but doing the research, it just opened my eyes more that relationships are struggling right now.
Yeah.
There is a lot of stress. There is a lot of impassionate relationships. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of relationships where the intimacy is not there. But I have not felt that impact with you. Mm. Like, I love spending time with you. I love being around you. I love being able to spend time with my family. We haven't really been as impacted financially. Like, yeah, everybody took a hit, right, when the initial pandemic started, but we were able to find ways to overcome it, be able to adjust and get back on the horse. But I haven't seen arguments spike with us. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen none of that. In fact, we've been trying to work harder to build up the intimacy, like be intentional about the things that we're doing so that we don't suffer. Mm-hmm. Like I was telling Asha, I don't even know what I'm gonna call this episode yet, but I think I'm gonna call it something about, vaccinated or the vaccine, the marriage vaccine or something, because right now we're getting vaccines in order to protect our bodies from this virus, but we need to do the same thing. We need to inject our relationships. We need to inject our marriage with some sort of vaccine to protect it from the impact of COVID.
Yeah.
Right. And the demise of many relationships in some marriages. So what we want to do right now is just give y'all the vaccine. Right, we're gonna give y'all the Pfizer. We're gonna give y'all the Moderna. We ain't gonna touch that Johnson Johnson because we heard that joint kind of crazy.
Oh my!
So we're gonna let y'all choose from those two, and we're gonna just give y'all some things that y'all can inject your relationship with in order to protect yourself from the stressors of this pandemic.
Yeah, but before we get into that, I just wanted to say one thing because you touched on it a little bit beforehand, but I feel like the biggest thing, like with us, like with now having to be, confined to our homes and being around each other so much is, which a lot of people have went through, is like, okay, now you have to face who your partner is, right? Mm-hmm. The things that, you may have been able to, get away with, or that wasn't so bothersome to you because, they were spending 8 or so hours out of the day at work, and now you're having to be around them all the time, and it's just things that are triggering for you, or that you're nitpicking at, or you have a problem with. And so I felt like for us, you were traveling a lot, and you were going a lot, even from your football career, and I was able to now have you more to myself. I was able to have that time that I didn't get to have with you all those years. Me? Yes. Mm. I did. That's I feel so like sweet. So I feel like a lot of people is being able to value that time, right? With your partner, because when you go back into, hopefully, God willing, when we go back and there's more of a normalcy of when we're out to work and we're trying to get back to our daily work schedule outside of the home, and you may be going back to traveling, I'm not going to have the luxury of having you with me all the time, being able to do things with you. So I think just being able to have that gratitude and appreciation is one of the biggest things from my point of view that helped with, us being in the pandemic. I feel like a lot of times things of this nature has like magnified things that someone may have had a problem with and sped up that process of, oh, I want a divorce, or oh, I want to break up, because you weren't around it, right? Yeah. So maybe it was always there, but you weren't really paying attention to it because you didn't have to be around it so often. And so I think maybe if we shifted our mindset, which goes into some of the, vaccines of how we feel about things, is just being able to show that gratitude and appreciation and value that time that you had with that partner while you have it.
But keep it real with me and keep it real for all our real ones out there. I know you talked about how, you love having me around, you miss me and stuff like that. Is there times where you like, yo, get away from me?
It's times like that for everybody, okay? When he's doing little things just to irk my soul, y'all, and just trying to get under my skin, I'm just like, oh, I need a break, And that's when you can just go for a drive, go for a walk, do something. But overall, no. Like, I love that you're able to be here with us. Where you're not, like you said, your schedule has been busy with school, but when you're not busy, us just being around, having family time and doing those things that, a lot of people take for granted. And that, like I said, I didn't have because of your schedule being so hectic for years. It's like I'm able to appreciate that now. And so I think that gratitude is major. So
yeah, and I honestly think that a lot of people look at it as a bad thing that now you're around the person a lot, so you have to face things head on. But I really think that it's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Because if the only thing that was helping your relationship be successful is that there were distractions or the person was going, you basically had to live in a shell of a marriage or a relationship. And nobody wants to do this. If you're only able to put up with somebody because you're only seeing them a certain amount of hours of the day, are y'all really in a good relationship? Was it ever really working? Was COVID ever really the problem?
Okay.
Or did it just expose the issues in your relationship?
Absolutely.
So I think that now that you are spending more time with your partner, now's the time to learn. To relearn who your partner is, to talk about the issues, to talk about how you can fix the issues. So I really look at it as an opportunity because me and you, we sit down, we have check-ins quite often.
Yes.
Like, what can we be doing better in our relationship? And no, all of the conversations are not easy conversations. Like, a lot of people stray away from having a tough conversation because you don't want to hurt your partner's feelings. But there's a respectable way to talk about issues in your relationship. And y'all are both on the same accord in order to fix it. Like, when y'all both invested into the relationship, it's tough, but it's not hard to have those decisions because y'all are both trying to do everything in your power to stay committed to the commitment. You know what I mean? So I think that has always been something positive about us, is that we have conversations. Regardless of how tough they may be, we're going to sit down and we're going to have a conversation and we're going to do what we can to try to fix those problems.
Yeah. So I think that's probably the first for our vaccine, our vaccination. Probably the first big thing that you can do to help with your relationship is have those daily check-ins, right? Assess how your partner feels, what they're going through, to have those daily conversations, weekly conversations to see where they're at. Because, even before everything was going on, you go through the hustle and bustle of life and you get so caught up in everything going on. And like I said, now with us having to work from home and go from the office into the living room and now having to entertain the children and play with them and make sure that they're learning and that they're getting all that they need, and then go and do the daily routine of everything else with life, it's like we're not as intentional with making sure that we're checking in on our partner to make sure that their mental health is okay, that their emotions are okay, and everything is working with them fine. And so having those daily check-ins is so important because it's going to take your relationship in the long run way further than it could be if you're not checking in on your partner. It could eliminate a lot of issues in the long run.
Yeah, number one is just it's going to improve your mental health.
Absolutely.
Because, listen, like, life can get stressful sometimes. And for a lot of people, not even just men, but I say women do it too, but majority of men, when you are going through certain things in your life, you're going through some stressful times in your life, chronic stress, if we allow those things to build up and we don't have a release, we don't have somebody to talk to, that's when it overpowers us. That's when our thoughts overpower us. That's when our negative emotions overpower us because we're trying to battle them internally. But we take power over those negative thoughts and negative emotions when we speak about them, right? Because we're no longer fighting them by ourselves. We have a partner that we can talk to. We have a partner that is willing to carry some of that weight for you, so it's not as heavy on you as it is when you're doing it by yourself. So being able to talk about those issues, having those stress reducing conversations where y'all are sitting down and you're talking, but y'all are not talking about the stress or the problems you're having in your relationship, but we're talking about the outside stress. Like, what are you going through outside of this relationship? Being able to empathize with your partner about what they're going through, being able to let them know that you hear them, that you're listening to them, not offering unsolicited advice, not having the conversation to just put yourself or make it seem like you know all the answers to the problems, but just there to listen. And if they ask for your advice on the situation, being able to provide it. But just by being able to have those stress reducing conversations, it does so much. Because I tell you, I got to a point where I should tell y'all, there'll be times, like, I believe I said it on the podcast before, like, negative thoughts were entering your mind without no permission.
Yes.
And before, I used to just take it on by myself. But now if I ever have those thoughts, I'd be like, yo, Asha, it's my brain doing it again. You know what I mean? Like, I'm having negative thoughts and I don't even know why, because despite everything that is going on, my life is great. I may not have everything I want. I may not have reached all the goals that I want to reach, but honestly, my life is great. Like, I have my family. We love each other. We have fun. If you don't follow us on Instagram, we have a ton of fun as a family. Like, we're able to pay our bills. We're able to take care of our necessities. Like, life is great. I don't need anything else right now. You know what I mean? But still, sometimes the thoughts may pop in my head like, man, you need to go out there and do this. You need to be able to do this. Because unconsciously, sometimes we just compare ourselves to people out there that we may see. And be like, man, I deserve that. I should be here. No. Learn to be grateful, like Asha said, with where you're at right now, and appreciate the journey. Because I can tell you this, once you accomplish your goals, it ain't even going to mean as much to you as it used to be. Because we all get used to things. We get used to the promotion. We get used to the new house. We get used to the new car. Unfortunately, we get used to the marriage. You know what I mean? So being able to appreciate the journey, although you're not there, that is probably the most excitement that you will get before you actually accomplish your goal.
I think another major part of that is not only just having those check-ins with your partner, but making sure that you're checking on your own stress level and things that's contributing to that, because that literally will spill into other areas of your life. You know, without you even knowing it, you could be adding unnecessary stress to yourself, but to your household, to your children, to your partner, that they are also going through. You know, our children are going through stress as well, as not being able to go to school when they are, you know, having certain restrictions in certain states and having to adjust to this. So I think just being able to say, let me check in on my level of stress and how I may be contributing to the overall health of my household is big. But not only that, like, we think about it, and I was actually reading this somewhere about how we're literally not made to endure so much stress, right? Like, how many times have you been so stressed out, and it's just like, it causes you to feel sick, right? When you're just overloaded with stress, you get so stressed out and you're thinking about so much stuff and you get a headache and you're just like, oh my goodness, like, this is too much, right? You're sitting up there, you may feel nauseous. Like, that contributes to your body feeling a certain type of way, having the burden of so much stress. So just being able to, like you said, having those outlets so that you can relieve some of that stress, so that you're not putting so much tension on yourself, will overall help everybody within your household and outside of your household as well.
Can I break that down for them?
Break it down, babe.
Because, you know, I got to use what I'm learning in school. I got to use this degree. I'm not all about getting degrees and not being able to use it, because T.D. Jakes used to say, or he still says, people got more degrees than the thermometer, but they still ain't out here heating nothing up.
Ooh,
right?
bars.
He didn't say heating nothing up. I said that part, but you know what I mean? That's what I would have said if I was him, that they still ain't out here heating anything up. So I just want to heat this podcast up real quick and get people to understand why that is. What you said. Can you please pass me that book?
Okay.
Beautiful lady. Thank you very much. So this right here, I'm going to plug this book. I'm not even getting paid for it, but I just think that this is an amazing book. I had to read. I'm reading it right now for school, and it's called The Brain Rules, and it's 12 principles for surviving and thriving at work, home, and school. And it basically tells you how the brain works. And it was talking in there, like Asha just referenced, that our brains are not built to endure stress for long periods of time. Like our brains are built to endure stress short periods of time, because it was used for us to either fight or flight. It was used for us to escape dangers, or it was used for us to catch or prey so that we can survive. Because the number one goal of the brain is to live long enough in order to pass on your genes, right? Procreation. So anytime that so in that sense, stress is good for your brain as long as it's not chronic stress. Like any type of stress is when your brain learns the best, right? But when you allow stress to go on for long periods of time, it has detrimental effects on your body, because our body produces a lot of chemicals, right? And those chemicals, they end up turning to plaque, which then clogs up our arteries, right? Our blood vessels. That's why people who have chronic stress suffer more from heart attacks and strokes, because it starts to block. Like the things that were created to protect you start to harm you, because then they start overtaking your body. So being able to find ways to relieve that stress as fast as possible is important, because it can really mess with your health. So I just wanted to drop that on with you. I was really about to go in longer than I just went in right now, because this book really excited me. And I don't even I never really read when I was growing up, but the stuff that this degree is exposing me to, man, it's amazing to learn about your body. So I just wanted to drop that on them right there. So TD Jakes, holla at me, because you're going to have to pay me for that line that you got more degrees than a thermometer, but you're not heating things up. And I tithe, but you're going to have to pay me.
I can't. You know what? But yes, you guys. So just to continue to give y'all some tips that can help with not only your relationship, but just with you as an individual, because I feel like once you're full, you're able to feel important to others, and especially your relationship. And so one thing for sure is just maintaining your self-care, your routine, right? If you feel good about yourself, you feel great about yourself, it's going to show. You're going to exude that energy in other areas, right? And so I feel like a lot of times with the chaos and confusion of life, we kind of pull back from taking care of ourselves, right? We're taking care of everyone else and everything else, that we don't focus on ourselves. And it should be such a number one major priority of ours to just focus on taking care of ourselves. So whatever that looks like for you, if that is, having your own spa day, if it is, doing something to relax, whether it be exercise, yoga, meditation, whatever it is, pour into yourself. Have that self-care. Make sure that you're taking that time out to make sure that you feel good about yourself. You're having your routine, your schedule, and sticking to it, because if you lose that day, it's like, oh, okay, I can do it next week. But no, that matters. So make sure that you prioritize taking care of yourself.
Yeah. Again, I'm sorry. Just see another opportunity to drop something.
Gems, just dropping them. You need a button for them gems dropping.
I'm sorry. If I hold this information to myself, it just wouldn't be right. I wouldn't feel right. So what Asha just said is head on, right? And I love that she gave y'all a variety of activities you can do in order to help with the stress, because what we have to understand is what makes one person happy doesn't necessarily make you happy, right? So if me and Asha working out makes us happy, it increases our well-being. It doesn't mean that it will do it for you. Like if we like reading or we like watching certain shows, we like doing yoga and meditation, it may not necessarily work for you, right? So what you have to understand is 10%, and this is why I really want people to understand, because if we're talking about the impact that COVID is having on marriages and it's having on relationships and it's having with mental health overall, understand that circumstances that we're going through in our lives only account for 10% of our happiness. Only 10%. Like 10% is big, but it's really not that big when I drop these other numbers on you, right? So circumstances in life, whether you lost your job, whether you're going through COVID, where you're dealing with a illness, a sickness, whatever, it only accounts for 10% of your happiness. The other 50%, another 50% is due to your genetic makeup, right? Like we have a genetic disposition, a genetic baseline of the amount of happiness that we can have. But even then, certain environments trigger those genetics in order to make you feel like you're happy or unhappy. So you just really have to monitor the environments in which you're placing yourself in. But the other 40% is due to the activities that we decide to participate in. So you have to really focus on what you're doing with your day. Are you just laying around doing nothing? Are you just scrolling through social media all day? Are you just watching TV? You're not doing anything to get you closer to your dreams. If you're not doing anything to just increase your happiness, you're doing yourself a disservice. So what another book that I'm suggesting y'all is something called The How of Happiness. And in that book, you can take a test to find out what activities will make you the happiest if you do over time. But like Asha said, you have to be able to hone in on certain activities that you can indulge in to help alleviate some of the stress that you're dealing with in your life and boost your level of happiness.
Yes. Another one that I think is very important to touch on because I know personally, and I even from us discussing with, some of the real ones that contact us, is just being aware or mindful of your partner when it comes to maybe substance use or abuse, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times when individuals are stressed out, we turn to substances to relieve that stress. We talked about it before. You talked about it a little bit, like when everything was going on with Leah, when you decided like you wanted to go to the liquor store one day, and we sat outside and we really talked about it, and you decided to not do that after us having that discussion. But I think being able to recognize it and to have those conversations with your partner, if you do see it happening or getting to that point, is major, because you can ultimately help them from going down into a deep spiral, into a deep hole that would be way more difficult for them to come out of if you see it in the beginning, right? So just being aware of that, having certain conversations, pouring into your partner, suggesting other ways or outlets that you can, take advantage of, other resources aside from those substances to help you with those stress, with those issues, to just get through life and get through those difficult times without having to go to that extreme. I think that's really important for us to do.
Yeah, and it helped me out a lot. 'Cause like you said, man, like when Leah was going through her battle with cancer, it was one time where I just wanted to go to the liquor store and just pour up so many cups to try to numb the pain. But you were aware of what I was going through, right? You didn't just sit back and just let me, he'll get over it. Go ahead and let him do this. I'm not going to say nothing because I don't want him to react a certain way. You was like, nah, I care about this man. I'm going to say something because I'm not going to allow him to go on this downward spiral.
Yeah. And
to know that somebody cares for you when you're at the lowest, when you're at rock bottom, it can really just change the trajectory of whatever you're going through, the situation you're going through. So being able to check in with your partner, like Asha said, is crucial. Another thing is just habit of connection. And that's probably the last thing that I would tell you to get vaccinated with, is just that habit of connection. Like, it doesn't even have to be long. It can be short. It can be seconds. Like, for me and Asha, every single morning, bro, every single morning we wake up, we say good morning, right? Every single morning. Every single morning we wake up, we hug each other. Every single morning we wake up, we kiss each other on the cheek because nobody want to do the morning breath thing, right? But I
don't know what you be thinking. Some of them movies be showing some stuff.
Yeah,
it's not realistic.
It ain't real.
Some of y'all doing kissing, that.
We're not putting the tongue in each other's mouth when we just wake up, because I should be having slobber
all
over her mouth.
You be trying to throw
So
shade.
I ain't doing it. So I even have to make sure I kiss her left cheek because the slobber be on her right cheek.
You done?
I'm sorry. I'm just letting them know what's really going on.
He's done.
But even if she wakes up before me, if I'm asleep, she'll come kiss me on my cheek. And most of the times I'll wake up when she does that. But we will even make sure we do that if one person wakes up. When we go to bed, we make sure that we pray together. We make sure that we say goodnight. We make sure that we hug. We make sure that we kiss. If I fall asleep before Asha, she comes over and kisses me and tucks me in, all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like you got to make sure that you're having these habits. Make sure that you're having these habits of connection where you're able to build that intimacy. And when we say intimacy, we're not only talking about physical intimacy, sex, but we're just talking about connecting with one another. And what better way than with your partner to connect in the morning and to make sure that you're connecting at night. Yeah. You're starting your day after you pray with each other, and then you're ending your day after you pray with each other. Yeah. Like it's, you can't beat that.
Yeah. Because like you said, that emotional intimacy that you have from building up those habits of connection is going to ultimately lead into that physical intimacy, which I feel like a lot of people suffer from when you are stressed out. You don't want to be as intimate. So when you're able to pour into your partner, you're able to build up that emotional intimacy, you're able to build up that connection, it will lead into that in the long run. So I think definitely that has been huge for us, major for us, to just make sure that we're intentional with our habits of connection.
Babe, you're so smart and beautiful.
Thank you.
Girl, don't touch me like that. You already know. See? You see that? I called her smart and beautiful, and she just rubbed my hand, almost touched my thigh, because I'm trying to get physically intimate.
I can't.
And it just worked. That just showed y'all.
You know what? Done?
I just wanted to show them the proof in the pudding, because a lot of times people be out here just giving advice, and they ain't really nothing to show for it. But I just said that, and she just grabbed my hand. Her fingertips touched my thigh, so...
You know what? And then the thigh lead is something else. You know what? I can't. But no, I think just for a closing, I just feel like for everyone to remember that you are a team. You're in a relationship. You're with your partner. I threw in a little analogy in because men like sports. My man was an athlete.
I still
retired. He is an athlete, but he's a retired.
Nike says anybody who got a body's an athlete. My body messed up, but I'm still an athlete. Don't take that from me. Don't strip that from me. People don't strip things from me my whole life.
I can't. But I was just thinking, like, if you are, on a team, you're playing sports or whatever, you're not going to walk out on your teammate,
Whoa, you can't say that because you don't know what just transpired.
You know what?
This past week, you can't say that players won't walk out on their teammate because that's not true. Bad analogy. You would have come up with another one.
You know what? I'm gonna say you can't. You shouldn't. You know what? I'm so mad.
Right message, wrong time.
Clearly. Oh my goodness, I'm about to have tears in my eyes.
Yo.
Okay, you guys. Clearly, we weren't talking about clearly. Okay. Oh, I can't. The whole point was. You should not, or you shouldn't walk out on your team on the last play of the game just because you're down, right? You should go all the way through, have that team sport, just to say, you know what, we in this together, we're going to get through this, we're going to figure it out. What can we do? Just because you're in your relationship and you're having hard times right now doesn't mean that you have to run. There's resources, there's ways that you can get over it. We are a testament to all of the things that we go through. I'm trying to catch my breath.
I was about to say, what the?
I'm sorry.
I'm like, yo, what's going on?
I think I'm getting emotional or something, but no. To everything that we've gone through, if you guys have listened to previous podcasts, we've been through a lot in our relationship within this short amount of time that we've been together,
Decade short?
It's short for, some couples that have been married for years. And so we went through a lot of storms, and the reason that we came up with this podcast is just to share our experience, that you can weather that storm together and come out on the end even better than you were before. And so I just wanted to, even though you said, like, I wasn't even thinking about that, I should have thought about that before I said that. But you know what? That's just a rare case, okay? But yes, you stick in it. You can get through it. Your partner, y'all can get through this tough time. We don't know how long the pandemic is going to be, how it's going to affect us in the long run. But one thing for sure, two things for certain is that we know that God is in control of everything. And no matter what, as long as you're waking up today, tomorrow, the next day, you're able to, live life. You have breath in your lungs. You can go out, you can strive for greatness, and you can make the best out of each day, regardless of what the circumstances are of this pandemic. And you can definitely change and shift the dynamic of your relationship if you are struggling from anything that has affected you from the pandemic. So we hope that this podcast was helpful for you guys. We hope that it shed some light and just gave you some type of inspiration to know that you can get through it. It's not going to be hard times forever. And with that being said, until next time, you guys.
Hold on. Don't till next time yet, real quick.
Oh, you have something to say?
Nah, I just wanted to say, because you said that you hope that this impacted them.
Yeah.
And the way that we will know if it impacts y'all is if you leave a review. So I just want to throw out a quick reminder to y'all real quick. Like, if y'all really fool with us, y'all like our podcast, y'all like the insights that we give on this podcast, make sure that you go over to Apple or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave a review so we can get this podcast out to more people and hopefully be able to be some sorts of light in whatever darkness they may be going through, or some type of guidance in their relationships or in their marriage. And I also want to give a shout out to all of our people listening in Africa, because I was just going through the numbers today, and y'all keep us in the top 5 over there in Africa. And so I appreciate that. Yeah, I wanted to shout y'all out on our podcast in case y'all listening. Just know we're going to be over there one day. Yeah, keep
spreading the love, sharing. Yeah. Hopefully we can go after everything simmer down, but yes.
So we appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all go rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends and family.
Yes. So you guys, until next time, keep it real.
Yes, sir.